What's up, everyone, and welcome to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jaleel Thurman. HBCU 101 is a show that will take all over the nation, give you the ins and outs of HBCUs with a little taste of the HBCU flavor. On today's episode of HBCU 101, we sit down with a rattler that is a multimedia personality. But before we get to that, let's check out our HBCU news and see what's buzzing in our community with Tali Carr.
Okay, man, you know, in the CIAA, one of the most popular things when it comes to sports, the cheerleaders. You can't have a conversation about cheerleaders without talking about the woo-woos at Virginia State. And coming up on March 30th, the woo-woos will be celebrating their 50th anniversary. They're as old as I am. The woo-woo legacy stands on the work of the legendary Dr. Paulette Walker Johnson. Dr. Johnson will be celebrated with a gala and a silent auction to help raise scholarships to support future woo-woos. If you want more information on the gala and the woo-woos, just go over to hbcugameday.com and search for the term woo-woos. All right, let's get back to HBCU 101 with Jaleel Thurman.
Many know today's guest for being that cool soror, while others know her for her impact in both radio and television. HBCU 101 would love to welcome Florida A&M University alumna, mother, wife, actress, host. I mean, just the multimedia personality herself, philanthropist, author, and everybody's homegirl, the amazing Rashan Ali.
Now that was the intro right there.
You know, I'm gonna make sure you feel at home.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what to say. I'm gonna make sure you feel at home.
I already do. Thank you so much.
Listen, now let's talk home. All
Okay.
right? Now, you know, born in Atlanta.
Yes.
Raised in Decatur, where it's greater.
East side.
You know, FAMU.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for me, it was money. That's how I got to Virginia State. If one of the Qs went on the yard, if they wasn't paying me to be there, I wasn't going. Virginia State wasn't my first choice.
Okay.
Actually, Morehouse was.
Okay.
For you, was FAM the only choice? Was it the first choice? Like, talk to us about that journey.
That's so incredible. I love that you just asked that question first. So I was accepted into A&T, Jackson State, Tennessee State, and FAMU. I got accepted to Jackson State's academic program, and my brother went to Tennessee State. Okay. So I was like, oh yeah, Tennessee State, I'm going there. I knew Nashville. Everybody knew me. I'm Lil Buck, they called him Lil Buck, Colin's little sister, and I had been going up there for 4 years, since my 9th grade year. But my SAT scores shot up. And then I was eligible for a presidential scholarship at FAMU. And then somehow the swim coach found out that I was a swimmer, got a call from the swim coach, and then everything was literally paid for at that point. I got a full academic scholarship and then add on the swimming scholarship and then journalism. So actually Tennessee State in my yearbook, because I was homecoming queen for Southwest DeKalb High School, it was like, she'll be attending Tennessee State University to study, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But it changed to Florida A&M University. Best decision I ever made.
Greek life. Now, Greek
Huge
life. Greek life at any HBCU, but certain HBCUs that it's like here. FAM is, of course, one of those. Like, walk us through like just that Greek life energy that you experienced at undergrad.
Listen, it was so incredible because not only, like you said, it was just so big and it's so respected, not only just among Greeks, but everybody kind of knows about that life just on any HBCU campus, but especially in the age of social media, they see how FAMU rocks. So I will say the original dances or like strolls that have been created nationwide from the AKAs, from Set It Off. We created Set It Off, Beta Alpha did. The Beta Alpha Deltas created To Be Real dance that they do. The Alphas created the Gorilla Step. So it's like a lot of those like strolls that are known internationally, the impetus and the origin happened at FAMU. So when I went to FAM, it was just like, and I grew up around Greek life. My dad is an Omega. He pledged at Delaware State in 1963. And my mom pledged AKA at Delaware State in 1965. So it's been in my life my whole life. So old scrapbooks, I see my mom in her satin green pants and her pink top and her big afro with her chocolate skin and doing all the things. And then my dad, like, he started offline with about 3 people. But he was number one. And the only one that finished. So you take what I got from growing up and then you
mix it.
You put it, it's obviously in here, and then you get to see it at FAMU's campus. So the reason why I even created Cool Soror, which is my brand, is because I was so cool with everybody.
Yeah.
It started at FAMU.
Yeah.
So that life is just, it's
different.
It's delicious.
Come on, I like that. It's delicious. I like that. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
I think what's so interesting is that the AKAs and the Deltas have the same chapter.
And it is.
And I know that rivalry is crazy.
It is. It's already a thing just because of our history. But then you add on the chapters being the same name.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other chapter like that is obviously at Howard with 2 Alpha chapters.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is you had to learn how to really unify. We had Beta Alpha Unity Weeks. I'm actually flying up to, sadly, a wake for a Beta Alpha Delta who just recently passed away from breast cancer. My sister-in-law, crazy. Here's the story. Now, this is how it is in my family. My mother-in-law is a 26th national president of Delta Sigma Theta, Beverly Smith, their last past president. So here I am married to her son. Our whole family is Greek. And so both of the chapters, but the love is real. Of course, you're gonna have certain eras where the rivalry is like, oh God, and we come back and like, what are these babies doing? They are being so mean to each other. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, once you learn that when you go outside of that campus, y'all all black. Yeah. You're gonna need each other. Yep. And I think that we started to establish that. I know for me in the 90s, with my lines and other lines, from Beta Alpha Delta, Beta Alpha AKA, we were like, all right, we all we got. And you know what I mean? And that's ultimately how it always works, is when you realize we all we got. Yeah. Right? And then you even took that same concept into life after college. Mm-hmm. But we'll talk about after the break. It's Jalil, it's Rashan. You all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to HBCU 101. It's Jalil, and I got Rattler royalty in the building. My girl, Rashan Ali. Now, Rashan, before we get back to what makes you so great, we got a little HBCU trivia. Okay, I hope I'm all right.
I think you're going to be all right.
We're going to see.
All right. True or false? HBCUs make up 3% of the U.S. college and universities of all of them.
True.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
I was about to say 6%, but I'm like,
that 6 might be a little too spicy.
Yeah, right.
Now, before the break, we talked a lot about FAM and how you was prepared in radio and things like that. Mm-hmm. All right, now you leave FAM, you come back to Atlanta, you kind of start getting in the industry.
Lots of
different things. But at this point in time, I want to talk about LaFace Records. Mm-hmm. You were actually a personal assistant to Lisa Left Eye Lopez, which rest in peace, which I know that was crazy. I know you got stories for days.
Yeah,
but during that time, you kind of started to transition into an opportunity in radio, where you were handpicked by Ryan Cameron. Like, I need Rashan. Right. For you, does that education at FAM, does that prepare you for that opportunity on 107.9?
Oh, yeah, totally. Because of my radio experience in undergrad, and I just always have had just a personality. Yeah. My parents knew, like, okay, we don't know how she's gonna get to where she's going, because back then they didn't really, there was no acting school, or if you did, like, you had to be in LA, or that type of thing. And so journalism was a pathway for me, but I was completely prepared for that opportunity. And when I heard him talking about it on the radio, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna go out for it. Yeah. Because, as you know, you don't start your radio career in a top 10 market. That's that's unheard of. You're gonna go to Arkadelphia, Arkansas, like, you're gonna go to a small town, and no disrespect to those small towns, but that's just how it works in this game. And so to be able to be chosen by Ryan Cameron, I mean, it went, it was a whole contest. It was American Idol style, along with my girl CJ. She and I both were chosen, but I was kind of like his main sidekick in the studio, co-host. But it really changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my life, and totally prepared. When I got on that radio, I'm like, I'm not gonna be some contest winner that just, she's just a contest. Well, no, I actually have a degree in this. And so I had to really prove myself, not only to myself, but to the people of Atlanta who voted for me. And me being a homegirl, like everybody's homegirl, which is my name for myself, it made a difference too. I was ready for the tall task, and it literally jump started my entire media career in that regard.
Yeah. Now, even in that, like, you know, you in radio, you were top ranked, you know, for two different. Yeah. You know, you was doing your thug thizzle.
I was.
You know, I'm gonna give you your flowers. You know, let them know. Eastside was doing their thing. You know, I'm not mad at that, and I want to give you your flowers for that. Thank because you. To your point, you don't just start there. Yeah. Right? No. And then that's a tall task, and you took it like, man, I'm a rattler, man. I got this, right? Yeah. And that's what you did. And in that position, you were balancing between radio, which is a passion, acting, which is a passion. And you started to kind of have more acting opportunities and spaces. And your last day at V103, you know, you was like, hey, you know, God has given me something different. And I'm going to go after acting full time and do that thing for you. How was that transition?
So it was interesting. So during that time, I had been the host of the 18 Morning. Ryan left. I became the host of the 18 Morning Show. We did that. And then Ricky Smiley came in for the syndicated show. So we were kind of ousted on Hot 107.9, and I was a free agent for a while. And then V103 called. I mean, who doesn't want to work at V103? You grow up listening to V103. It's the flagship station. At least then it was the flagship station. Ryan Cameron's over there. So I went back into a position that I had come from. But I went back with a whole lot of knowledge and I had been the lead of my own show. So I had come from being his sidekick or his co-host to now going back into that position, but with all of this experience. Yeah. So that Rashan that got that job,
different.
I was a different girl. That thing lasted 1 year. Yeah. That thing lasted 1 year, and I was like, "Oh, this ain't it." Yeah. And so I told my husband one day, I was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna quit." He was like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" You know? And then I told my mom, she was like, "You don't leave that good paying job." You know, that type of that old school mentality. But you want your children to be safe. So they were planning to let me go, I think. No, I know they were. Yeah. On the same day that I was planning to quit. So it worked out. Yeah. And then they allowed me, you don't get this opportunity, Ray. They allowed me to come back to talk about why I wanted to leave. Usually you part ways and then that's it. They're like, "What happened to Rashan?" "Oh, well, she don't work here no more." Yeah. So when I went up there and I talked about my dreams, I knew that they were already in me. Like, television was always the long goal. Yeah. And I was sideline reporter for the Atlanta Hawks and Falcons and CBS Sports Network and all of those things. But it was just time for me to take that step. Now, I did go back to radio on 94.5 with Steve Hegwood, who used to be my program director at Hot 107.9. He owned the station. Wayne Brown, who was the general manager at Hot 107.9, may he rest in peace. He was the new sales manager there, and he called me. I didn't even know he was going through pancreatic cancer at the time, colon cancer at the time. He was dying, but he said, "I need you to come to my station because you would give our station instant credibility." So I went back into radio, but I was doing television at the same time. And so when we got let go for The Breakfast Club, I was like, "Man, I ain't doing this radio thing no more. I'm good. Y'all can have it," because it keeps breaking my heart. Yeah. So it was one of those relationships that was
love-hate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just a thing.
It was a love-hate. Yeah. And so, but it prepared me for everything that I have to face in the television world, the acting world. I did it all. With radio, what? I can do anything.
Anything.
I can do anything.
And you have done just that. Anything.
Yes.
But we'll talk about it more after the break. It's Jalil, it's Rashan. You all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Time now for Did You Know? Brought to you by HBCU Pride Nation. Did you know over 50% of Black public school teachers in America graduated from an HBCU?
Welcome back to HBCU 101. It's Jalil, it's Rashan. Now, Rashan, let's switch gears a little bit. Cool story.
Yeah.
You know, not only merch, right? Which is, first of all, fire.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Shout out to Legacy History Pride.
Come on, shout out to the family.
My partner.
You know, you got that, but then also you've developed it into a podcast now. And where you not only have impact in the community, I mean, you've done things with Cricket Wireless and the HBCU community. Like, can you just talk about the Cool Soror brand in general?
Yeah, so I created it because I always considered myself a cool soror. Let me tell you what the download is. Like, I was walking up to Topgolf to go to a party, and I had on some I think I had some Timbs with some slouch socks and a little Louis book bag. I had on a little hoodie and some like camo shorts, and I was like, man, I'm such a cool soror. I was like, wow. So literally before I went to, you know how you check into Topgolf, people who would go there were like, hey, I'm with the party of whatever. Yeah. So before I even went to the party, I went to the bathroom and I took out my phone and I went to GoDaddy and I reserved the URL. I went to Facebook, I went to Twitter, and I went to Instagram, and I reserved it all.
Every day.
Because I said, that is nothing but God speaking to me. That is a brand. And that's how it started. So at first, I just wanted to do t-shirts. I was talking to my homeboy, AJ, who developed so much. He has a great platform called Blooksy, but he was very much into empowering people to find their passion and then and work it out, doing webinars. That's when that was really, really big too. He was like, no, you should do a podcast where you interview like other people in sororities and fraternities. I was like, yeah, that's right. Because I was trying to find my niche after I left radio. Yeah. And I didn't want a regular podcast where people are, and no offense to people that do that, just celebrities and all that. It's like, how can I find my little field? And that was my lane. And it has really, really blessed me in a tremendous way. Like you said, partnerships with Cricket Wireless, been on tour with them for 2 seasons for HBCU games and stuff like that. And then the brand and continue and just trying to figure out what's next for the brand too, because we know the onslaught of podcasts. And I've never liked to do what everybody else is doing. So I'm trying to figure out, where do I land in this space now that it has become so crowded? Yeah. But kudos to everybody that's doing their thing. It's just the math ain't mathing for me.
Come on now.
You know, and outside of Cricket Wireless, like I pay for all of my stuff without like active sponsors as far as my in-studio stuff. Correct. So that, although I'm giving away amazing content, it's gotta make sense for me. Yeah. And right now I just gotta figure out how it's gonna make sense for me to continue to do the content that people love. Everybody love it.
Come on now. Well, but hey, bills gotta get paid.
Yeah, man.
Now I wanna switch total gears. Mm-hmm. The balance that you've been able to find, how? I mean, you're a mother. I
am.
You're a wife.
To a rattler.
Yeah. Like how, in all of this, how have you been able to just find that balance in family and in business?
Took time. I was not great at it for a very long time. I was not great at it. I remember, and my husband knows I'm an open book, and I've said this story plenty of times. I remember one time I came home. This is when we were still living in a condo. I don't even think we had children yet. He was like, you go out here and you give the whole world Rashan Ali. I can't get one little piece of Rashan when you come into this house, because I'm tired. I've given myself to everybody. And that back then, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I'll come and do your school. Oh yeah, I'll go and do this community service. Wasn't nobody paying back then, you know, or you weren't demanding that, because Ryan Cameron taught me you endear yourself to the community. That is how you have longevity in radio. That's the old school mentality. Now it's, you know, it's a little different now. Yeah. But that's what I did. You endear yourself to the community. And then I grew up, my parents are very much in the community. My dad's a legendary high school football coach. Mom was a social worker. She led the social work department at Emory Hospital, one of the first Black executives in that type of space. So I come from a community-oriented family, but that was almost to the detriment of my family and my husband. So I had to figure out, how do I make sure I'm giving myself what I need, so then I can give that to my husband. Then you bring children into the mix. But we've got a beautiful balance now. 21 years married. We still really like each other a lot. And liking is very, very critical in a relationship. Yeah. You don't let that go over your head, young fella.
Come on, listen, I heard it.
You like
I called it.
You caught it. Catch that thing. I'm giving it out now. Like a nice route, okay? But yeah, I really do like him. Our girls get to see a really strong man, and also a man that loves his wife, and a wife that loves her husband. Yeah. We show them that, so they know what love looks like, no matter if they have a husband, a wife, whatever they have. Yeah. I want them to know what love looks like, and they see it every single day in our home. They've seen so many beautiful versions of what life looks like that doesn't look like ours. And so we've exposed them to that, and I want them to have fruitful and joyful lives that they have created in co-creation with God.
And that they enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, before we let you go, we play a game.
I don't want to go. I like this. We can't go further?
Hey, you know, I'm glad that you like it, you know?
Okay.
But before we let you go, we play a game with all of our guests called I Got 5 on It.
Okay.
I Got 5 on It is this or that, or who or what you got 5 on.
Okay.
All right?
All right, I think I got it.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go bands, you know, because you done traveled to a couple schools, you done seen a couple bands.
I've hosted Battle of the Bands.
You done hosted some Battle of the Bands. I want to know who you got, all right? You taking Tennessee State or Southern University. Because I know you got love for TSU, but I know that Southern sound is a little different.
I'm gonna go with, I got 5 on the aristocrat.
You got 5 on the aristocrat.
5 on the aristocrat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't mad.
Yeah, I got 5 on there.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, you know, a little TSU love.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, hey, she's showing TSU some love today.
I love TSU.
Yes. And I always got love for TSU. My little sister and my little cousin both are at TSU.
Exactly.
So shout out to them. Rashan, I want to say thank you.
Thank you
so much. It's Jalil, it's Rashan. You all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Time now for your HBCU Wall Street 101s. The month of March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. Some of the more common symptoms of MS are the numbness or tingling in the extremities, vision problems, vertigo and or dizziness, the MS hug, a tightness or squeezing sensation around the torso, fatigue, difficulty walking, and loss in cognitive function. Today's Brain Love Spotlight falls on Frederica Bell from Shaw University and Jamaris Payton from North Carolina A&T. Carolina Chicken and Waffles is an award-winning food and beverage company in eastern North Carolina founded by Miss Fred and her kids in 2019. Best known for their mobile strategy of serving their families famous fried chicken and Miss Fred's lemonade. The goal is to always put good things back into the communities they serve through providing good food and philanthropy. That's today's Brain Love Spotlight.
And that's it for today's episode of HBCU 101. I gotta give a special thank you and shout out to Rattler Royalty for coming through, my girl Rashan Ali for giving us the scoop on everything from FAMU, the School of Journalism, radio, TV, family. Y'all enjoyed the show, because I know I did. For the entire crew, I am your host, Jalil Thurman. We'll see you next week.